I think we're going. Sweet. Do you know what the last post on this account was?
What account are we on?
The gym YouTube channel.
An interview of the Van Solens.
No, gosh, no. That's way back. No, the little survey thing we did.
Oh yeah,
in the spring.
Yeah.
So I think it's fitting. Like, this is the same topic. I mean, I'm going way back for this. We started this gym originally with this idea that, all right, there's a lot of problems as it pertains to health. I mean, generally in the world, but even just stuff that we see and talk to people out every day. And over the past few years, that problem has become less, has not become less of a problem. We part of the presidential election was actually, this was one of the talking points, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's become a little less interesting to us. And I think it's because we got a finger on the pulse of what we think is maybe a bigger and more relatable problem. Is that true?
I would say yeah, if we're talking about specific to what we want to try to do at New City Fitness.
Right.
I mean, myself personally, I'm still involved in some of that. I'm just trying to help people with, you know, chiropractic office and health coaching stuff. But then in addition to what you said, I feel like we are, so there's a passion behind kind of the new direction that we want to go, but then there's also an importance. We see it being what's going to move the needle the most. And this is where we landed.
Sure. Yeah. Right. I guess. Yeah. The desired outcome of helping people locally get fit and take charge of their health. Yeah. Nothing's changed there.
Mm-hmm.
But essentially the message of, hey, if you continue to live this way, here's the negative outcome that's going to happen, and you're inevitably going to get some of this cascade of chronic disease that's coming your way, right? It's not very motivating, right?
Nope.
It's not motivating until you start to experience some of those negative consequences, negative side effects.
Yeah.
And so taking a different approach of, hey, men, all this stuff is making you less of a man. And so start taking responsibility. I mean, to put it really simply.
Yeah. I mean, that's the other thing wasn't motivating. Hopefully this is motivating. It seems to be going along with the grain of how the culture is moving to. There's a lot of men out there who are just looking for what is their purpose, and the loudest voices that are in the culture are telling them, number one, that they have a purpose. Number two, encouraging them to take responsibility.
Yeah.
And do things that men are supposed to be doing. So we see this, as we can kind of join in on what's going on with the grain of the culture in that way. But we also have a specific area of expertise where we think we could add to what's already happening.
Yep, it's good. So this little show today is to talk specifically about what we're doing right now. We're actually already 2 weeks into this little effort we're making. And quite frankly, it's going really well.
Yeah, it's been fun.
Yeah. So a couple weeks ago, I sent out, I believe it was over 50, not over 50 messages. I sent a message to over 50 people, 50 men. I think all of them within the church. most of them within church, and told them, hey, we are trying to make a strong effort to I don't think I use this language, but basically to motivate all of you. But to get them stepping foot inside these walls, to, come to the gym, get involved with this community here. And we've got kind of a little, progressive, I don't even know what to call this thing we're doing, leading to a competition. But I basically told them, hey, for the next couple of weeks, come to the gym. You want to come on Saturdays? It's free on Saturdays. I think, unofficially, I feel like this has always been the case, but unofficially, now officially, if you ever want to come to the gym on a Saturday, come. It's at 6 a.m. Sorry. But yeah, we can make that a forever thing. We said, hey, come to the gym on Saturdays, totally free. And beforehand, we're going to repeat this little kind of teaching series that we started last year, that I would say even last year, it was, I think it was successful in helping some of the guys who have been around here for a while to start to think a little bit differently about what they're doing here, right?
Yeah.
And so providing just a biblical argument and a theological argument for physical health, right? For essentially taking dominion over your physical body. I guess that's obviously the starting point in a lot of what we've already been talking about. But then, hey, what we do here is fueled in large part by performance and competition. And so we kind of laid out, hey, here's what we're going to do, and leading up to a little competition near the end of it. Is that a good flyover?
Yeah, I think so. I've noticed, well, part of this is just knowing myself. I grew up playing sports my whole life and hated practice, hated working out. In college, me and one of my good friends, when it became time for lifting, there were so many of us that were in the gym lifting, we figure out what hallway we had to hide in so that we didn't have to work out, and then just fill out our papers. So yeah, I hated it. And then even when I got done with school and I started at Palmer, there's a group of my friends that were doing CrossFit in the Palmer gym, and I would do it once every month or something, just because, I wanted to do something with my friends, but I absolutely hated it. And it wasn't until I started to get the feel of the competitive aspect of it that I started to enjoy it. And then that kind of was what led me into it. And then you pour on top of the competition, the community, the friendship that you're building, just the difficulty, the challenge that it brings, and then able to see. So if I think about where I was at lifting wise, when I left school playing college football, taking 2 years off of doing nothing and then coming back to it, how much I had dropped. But with in a month of doing it, I was close to where I was at strength wise. So that just allows you to say, okay, I can see good results with something like this. So there's all these things that kind of came together of why now I've done CrossFit, style workouts for, I guess, since 2011, whatever that is, 14 years. But I know it was that competitive piece of it that got me there, and it's a huge thing of what keeps me there. So just kind of inviting other people into that. I know there's, I feel like that's part of all people, specifically all men. It's just something that's kind of built in us. I know that there's some that would probably resist that sort of thing, but that's probably been trained into them. It's not necessarily them working out of kind of their nature. But then, that's kind of built in us. And then, guys that have had some sort of background in it, it's a great way of getting back into doing something that you should be doing anyway.
Yeah.
So that's what we did. We said, hey, let's see if we challenge these guys to friendly competition. How many of them would buy into it?
Yeah, and what's funny is, while we have been able to see I guess the bigger picture in terms of, okay, what role does, exercise and fitness play in this, this bigger picture of health and the problem with chronic disease and all of this stuff, just the modern American lifestyle. And I spent a lot of time learning about it and understanding it and personally going through different aspects of it. Even with all of that, the truth is the competitive side of it is honestly that's what keeps us around and keeps us doing it.
Yeah.
Right. That's like what we're after and really enjoy the most. Right. Mm-hmm. All the other stuff. Yeah. We're doing it, because we've come to a conviction that it's good and beneficial and we want to be doing it. And it's like, it sounds silly, but exercising fast is like one of the only things I do just because it's fun.
Right.
Right. You can do lots of other stuff. And I mean, granted, I would make an argument that this is arguably the best way to exercise, but it could be doing a lot of other things and be receiving the same health benefits.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So really there's a piece of it where it's just, hey, being honest about that, because unfortunately some of the competitive side of things is it like some people think it can take away from, hey, what we're doing here from a health perspective, but that's like, the truth is that's on the way freaking extreme. We're not advocating for spending your entire day in the gym and whatnot. It's like that stuff can be negative. It's not what we're doing. Right.
No.
We're saying, hey, it's honestly, it's just there's stakes involved, right? Mm-hmm. We're actually upholding a standard, and you're measuring yourself against that standard, right? And that's within an individual workout and against your peers, right? Yeah, and not to be so shy about the fact that we really like that.
Yeah.
Right. So I guess, these guys who have gotten these messages from me, and part of this is to them to kind of keep the, momentum rolling and whatnot, but to anybody else who's out there who maybe weren't on my little big text list, there's still time. So here's what we're doing. Let me get my weeks straight here. So today's the 23rd. That means this Saturday, the 25th, and next Saturday, the 1st, February 1st. Those will still be just like, hey, come work out. Saturdays, we always do partner or team workouts. We've had to do teams of 3 or teams of 4 the past couple weeks because there's been so many freaking dudes here. It's been great. 22 of them last week. Mm-hmm. And we've been doing that even earlier. If you thought 6 o'clock was early, we've had these guys here at 5 o'clock on a Saturday morning. Man, for no better reason than they want to be here. And that's where we're kind of talking through some of those, just that theological position on physical health. But then starting the next week, so that'd be February 8th, we're going to go through a 3-week individual seeding process. So here's how that's going to look. 3 consecutive weeks. You're going to come in and you're going to have a judge. Somebody's going to be watching and counting your reps and making sure you're upholding movement standards. And you're going to get a score on these 3 workouts. And their intent is to be a 3-event assessment of your overall fitness level. Okay. And so you're going to be tested on a broad range of skills and abilities. And from there, we're going to take these guys, however many we get, right? As we said originally, our goal is to get 30. Usually we have about 15 do this. We do this every year, by the way. Usually we have about 15, so we're looking to double that. So everybody get a rank 1 through 30, and then we'll figure out the number of teams and start placing people and make the teams as even as possible. So then that's a 3-week process. So whatever those dates are, then it's like the first weekend of March begins the annual CrossFit Games Open, which is the first stage of the CrossFit Games season. And once a week, they'll put out a workout, and those are the ones we'll actually use for the competition. And we'll work as teams, so you'll work on an individual basis, contributing to a team score, and winner take all, and we'll throw a little party, and it'll be great.
Yeah. Yep. So 6 weeks of actually getting, like you said, having a judge, getting evaluated, making sure it's not just you on your own, doing a workout, which kind of just ups the stakes a little bit, right? You can come in here and work out and then just report your own score. But when somebody's watching you and other people around you encouraging you, especially if it's your team, just makes you go harder than you normally would. So that's, one of the fun aspects of it. But I mean, getting to 30 people would be it's fun every year, with the however many 12, 15 guys that we have.
Yeah.
But yeah, and we haven't decided yet if it's going to be teams of 6, teams of 5, whatever. But it'll be something like that, teams of 5, 6 teams of 5. In the past, we've done it where the losing team has to buy dinner for everybody type thing. I don't know exactly what we'll do there, but we do know we'll celebrate at the end of it. So this will be all kind of working towards something at the end. So I'm excited for it. I'm excited to see some of these new guys get into it and kind of get into that atmosphere and see how they respond. I'm excited to see some of the competitive juices come out in people, and some of the smack talk that hopefully will come out. And then what we hope to do here with this show is kind of be following along with it. So this first show is just promoting it. Second show, we're going to do some kind of looking into the guys that said they're in, looking at maybe what they're good at from a fitness perspective, what they might have some weaknesses in, just kind of give a athlete profile so that people know where everybody else is at coming in.
Play sports analyst here.
Sports analyst. And then as we get the team set, then we'll do some predictions, kind of see which teams we think are going to be the most successful. And then each week we'll kind of look back at the week, see how people did, and those type of things.
I just realized, just came up with another idea that we have to execute on.
Okay.
Each week we should pick a matchup.
Okay.
Like pick two dudes who it's like, oh, this is going to be a good like head-to-head pair, different strengths and stuff, and we should just straight up live stream that. We should pull this stuff out there.
Yeah.
Have the camera set up and do friggin' live commentary on it.
That'd be sweet. So what we try to do, and I can't now even remember what you've already said about this even in this show, but it'll be one workout a week. When it gets to the open, they tell us what the workouts are. But then ideally, the majority of us would do it on a Saturday so that everybody's there. You obviously can have a judge then. You can be cheered on then. But you just have to have it done sometime in that week. But yeah, I'm assuming that we would do that on a Saturday when everybody's there and make that happen. That would be...
Yeah, that'd be sick.
And every time, so the first 3 workouts, as Jarek said, we're trying to gauge where you're at fitness-wise, so we can have some seeding so that we can try to make the teams as even as possible, because it's no fun if just one team dominates. But what's always interesting to see there is, even though we try to seed them as best as possible, make the teams as fair as possible, you always have somebody who
just outlier
underperformed in the seeding, overperforms during the actual competition, and throws a wrench in everything.
Yeah. So I guess to go in a little bit more detail on that, for maybe you're listening to this and you're thinking like, hey, good for you. I'm sure you're gonna have fun, but it's not for me. It is for you. So those seating workouts, I'm putting those together in a way that they'll be either completely accessible, right? So you think, hey, I can write a workout that is going to show the fittest person, and the only piece of equipment you need is a bike or a rower or something, right? Something anybody can do. Or they will be very progressive in nature, meaning you're going to be able to, everybody's going to be able to start, but not everybody's going to be able to finish, right? And so I'll be taking kind of extra, measures to be mapping those things out. But then for the actual open workouts, they always put out multiple variations of the workout. So there's the what they call prescribed event that, hey, you want to get a full score on this, you do these movements to the standard, and you put your score in that way. But then, okay, the worst person to fulfill the minimum work requirement on that is above the person who gets this other variation of the workout, right, which is extremely accessible, right? So instead of, hey, the standard, you have to do pull-ups and handstand push-ups and lift a heavy barbell, right? Hey, there's a different variation of this workout that you're going to do at these specific standards, manageable loads, manageable movement patterns, this sort of thing, and still be able to participate in not just participate, compete in this, to this standard that will be accessible, right?
Yep. Yeah. One of the other things that's always cool is as we've tried different things so we've done the open, and then in CrossFit there's something called the quarterfinals. Well, there was something called the quarterfinals after that. So it just kind of expands the movement patterns that they're asking of the athlete. So we'll see somebody that might not be one of the more stronger athletes, maybe can't even get something like a pull-up, but then there's something like a pistol, which is a single leg squat, and they can do that. So where they weren't able to necessarily score as high because other guys were stronger than them or maybe just even fitter. But now these guys can't do that particular movement. So then we'll see that as things progress. So yeah, just things like that are also what make it fun to see. Can people surprise you?
Yeah. Cool. I mean, yeah, I don't think there's much else here other than I'm going to send this to some specific people and say, hey, listen to this and do what I say.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I would say we want to get as many people as possible. The goal is 30. Having like 33 or 37 is kind of weird. So we would want somewhat of an even number.
Oh, we'll figure it out.
And there's probably already 15 to 20 guys that have said yes. So don't wait. Let us know if it's something you're wanting to.
Scarcity.
Yep. Scarcity, urgency.
That's great. Cool.
And if you're thinking about doing it and you're not doing anything right now, I would be coming in the next couple of weeks to get your body.
Yeah, so here's the other
used to
thing.
it.
Here's the other thing. I told these dudes, I said, hey, Saturdays are free, but if you're really setting your sights on participating in this competition, being here all week long is going to absolutely be to your advantage. And ultimately, hey, let's, show the hand. That's what we're trying to get these guys to do. We would love to give you half off your first month's membership. So, yeah, sweeten the deal. We want dudes to be here. Not only do we want to see you, take responsibility for your health and take dominion over your body. But man, when there's a big group of dudes in here, like it's more fun. It's enjoyable. There's a lot of energy in here, and you cannot not have a great time.
Yep. Something to look forward to every week.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So you can be looking forward to some coverage of our thing here. And hey, worst case scenario, you keep following along and you don't participate, and we put on a good enough show that you're like, man, you get to the end of this thing, and you're like, all right,
when are you doing it again?
That was cool. Hit me on the next one. Cool.